This is going to be Chapter 13, Objective 5. We're going to go over the cerebellum. I know we've talked about it a lot up until now, but now we're actually really going to talk about it. So you can see here how it was formed. So again, it came from the most posterior primary vesicle, the rhombencephalon. And then remember that primary vesicle differentiated into two, the metencephalon and the myelencephalon. Now, the metencephalon is going to form the pons and the cerebellum. So if you kind of look at the location of the pons and the cerebellum, they're like directly across from each other, with the medulla oblongata being lower down. So if that's going to help you remember, the pons and the cerebellum are going to form from the same structure, hopefully that'll help. But you do need to know the cerebellum is going to be formed from the metencephalon, which came originally from the rhombencephalon. Okay, so the cerebellum, again, I've got a 2-minute neuroscience video link there for you to watch. These little 2-minute neuroscience videos just kind of help visualize what's going on a little bit better. So it formed from the rhombencephalon, which then turned into the metencephalon. This is involved in balance. So your cerebellum is going to be involved in balance. It's also going to be eye movements. It's going to control posture, locomotion, that's movement, fine motor coordination, allowing for smooth flowing movements. So this works in conjunction with frontal lobes in planning, practicing, and learning complex movements. So for instance, I would give the example of riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle is many movements combined that you're going to have to practice over and over again. And this is going to be the cerebellum at work, allowing you to perform that task. So again, here's the cerebellum. That's your landmark, which again, we've been talking about for a long time. This helps you identify front from back of the brain real quickly. And as you can see, this is in the back. And like I said, it is directly across from the pons. So if this helps you remember, they are derived from the same structure, whereas the medulla oblongata sits lower. So it's going to be derived from the secondary vesicle that is most posterior. The cerebellum is connected to the brainstem, but is not part of the brainstem. It contains what's known as the arbor vitae, or the tree of life. So when you do a cross section of the cerebellum, you can see it's not as easy to see in this picture here. It's easy to see really when you do the dissection on the sheep brain. It looks like a tree. The white matter of the cerebellum forms the shape of a tree. So you kind of turn sideways a little bit and you can see that tree there. And it sits on top of that fourth ventricle. So there's the fourth ventricle right there. Remember, ventricles are going to be cavities within the brain where cerebral spinal fluid is made. So you see that corvoid plexus right there. That corvoid plexus is going to be where those ependymal cells are located, which creates that cerebral spinal fluid. So here's just a summary of, it's not a complete summary, but it's a summary of what you've hopefully been filling in as we've been going through these various structures of the brain. And that's going to conclude Objective 5, and then we'll have another video for Objective 6.